Hi, and welcome back to the We Need a Vote podcast and a bonus episode this week on a show that wasn't even on our radar until it dropped the other week. Yes, we're going to get into the good, the bad, and the multiple what the fuck moments from Prime Video's The Girlfriend. And joining me here to share the ick this week is Marie. Marie, again, is it my fault that you watched this show? Was it when I went, you might need to put this show in the fridge?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have checked this out if it weren't for you. And this is one of those shows you kind of need to watch with someone. Like, watching it in isolation is not, like, it's one of those ones where you need that audience reaction where you need to, like you were one episode ahead of me as we were watching it, but we need to, like, we were, like, texting each other throughout going, what the fuck is happening here? And like the gifts that we sent each other throughout this experience, like, were like fairly hilarious because we never knew where the other person was. But yeah, I mean, we're currently making our way through Alien Earth, and I thought this was scarier than Alien Earth.
Yeah, so before we get into the good, the bad, and the what the fuck, a little bit briefly about what the show is. So it's a psychological thriller television miniseries for Amazon Prime, directed by Laura herself, Robin Wright, she does the first 3 episodes, and Andrea Harkin, who does the next 3. And it's based on Michelle France's novel of the same name. The miniseries stars Robin Wright, Olivia Cooke, and Laurie Davidson, and it consists of 6 episodes, which is just the right number for this type of show. Loved it.
I wouldn't have survived if it was more.
And the premise of the show is it explores themes of love, greed, and power, depicting a mother, Laura, played by Robin Wright, and her reaction to her son, Daniel, Laurie Davidson's new girlfriend, Cherry, played by Olivia Cooke, and her perceived motivations. I'd say quite bland way of saying she doesn't trust her son's new girlfriend. And also it's a bit weird, a bit creepy.
We talked about this. Olivia Cooke seems to have a type when it comes to roles she's in. Always, a teensy bit incestuous and and also never knowing the character's motivation. Okay, I know, sorry. House of the Dragon is not teensy bit incestuous. It's extremely incestuous.
Yeah. I think on an incestuous scale, like, yeah, you got Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, and then this is just the hint of it. This threatens you with.
It's a hint. It was borderline. It almost passed the line, but it didn't. But it's still, bleh. No.
You could see the line and you were like, I'm not crossing it. It's right there.
But there's like, yeah, no.
Okay, so let's dive into it. On the good, and there's quite a lot of good I liked in the show. The performances, I thought Olivia Cooke was superb. When you meet her family, her mum, and like, her backstory, and you kind of like, you do feel for her. And as you have the split narrative in a show, and it jumps between her point of view as Cherry and Laura's point of view, Robin Wright's character. I think as I was watching it, I was much more on Cherry's side, and I think that's the way it's designed that way.
She is definitely really good, I think, and definitely it's like structured that way because we meet her second. Like, we start off with Laura, and we already kind of know something is not right because why wrestle with your mom in the pool? I just know, like, when he, like, that like scene happened, I thought it was like a young lover, and I was just like, fair enough. If it's all consensual, but no, when he calls her mom,
that's
no, but yeah. So I think we definitely depicted like to be on her side. Laura's just despicable in this show. I mean, they're both really good, and like, to pull this off, you have to be like fully commit.
I mean, that's the thing with Robin Wright. I think people forget. I did see someone posted it go, has everyone just forgotten how amazing she was in House of Cards?
I've never seen it.
She's amazing in House of Cards. She is like the power
behind. Yeah, but probably
behind.
will never ever see that show.
Yeah, exactly. Sadly, although she's so unhinged in it, you can almost see it from her point of view in a desperation of losing her son. I'm not saying like I was Team Cherry pretty much the whole way through it. Like the way she wrecks her life in episode 5. They both have tragic backstories. Like, obviously, Laura, they lost a child early on, which is why she's so protective of Daniel. But then, obviously, as we'll find out later on with Cherry, her dad was abusive, and she basically, well, it's very heavily implied that she pushed him off a ladder, and that's why he's in the hospital. Well, he's in the nursing home. basically unable to speak almost, other than lots of swearing whenever her name is mentioned or she comes in to visit him that one time.
I mean, what this show does really well, I mean, you're not as chronically online as I am, but toxic boy moms has become almost like a trend on TikTok. Moms would dance to like a trending audio and just go, his wife will never love him as much as I do. Like that's become like a thing on TikTok. Yes. And
No.
it's not ironic. They like fully like think this, where they're just like, oh, his girlfriend could never compete and stuff like that. And these are actual people saying these things. So I think the show really tapped into that really, really well, like this toxic boy mom mentality. Her losing her daughter, it adds to it, but still, like, I think, like, if her second child would have been a girl as well, she wouldn't have been like that. Like, it would have been a different type of controlling. Like, the
Mm.
way she has his claws on him, and like the second like he mentions that he has a serious girlfriend and you can just see it in her face. There was also this line where when he finally got his new apartment and she's just like, finally flying the nest, what will I do without you? And I'm like, he's 28, woman.
I really enjoyed the split narratives because, like you say, you get most of each episode is told from one of the characters' point of views, and so it was very well done, but also extremely frustrating, but in the best way, because there'll be a massive event, it will come to a head, and then you don't see, like for episode 5, 6, when Cherry finds out he's alive, and then when the next episode starts, we are from Laura's point of view after it's all happened. And I was like, but we wanted to hear that conversation. You do get that very brief first scene where she goes, "What? You told him I was dead?" I was like, yes, at least they got into it straight away, because some shows would have dragged that out and you'd be like, oh, okay, we know we're going to get to there. But they went straight into it in episode 5. I'm just like, this is it. No, we know this is what you want. Here you go. And now we're going to move on with the story again. So I did appreciate that.
What the show like does well is like shows dual scenes from each other's perspective, from like Cherry's and Laura's perspective, where like especially like the first meeting where like little comments like suddenly seem passive aggressive, and or like little actions like seem calculating and you don't know what the other person is thinking. By the way, I've had people like that in my life who've like over analyzed everything that I've said, and it's just like toxic. Do not be around those people. But still, even when we're like in both of these POVs, you still don't know who's telling the truth. Like it's still like an unreliable narrator on both ends.
The one thing it strangely made me think of was a film that just disappeared without a trace a few years back that was brilliant, and that was Ridley Scott's The Last Duel. And that has a similar narrative concept, but for a film. And it's like the medieval drama with Jodie Comer, Adam Driver, and Matt Damon. And the basic idea of the film is that Driver's character rapes Comer's character. And then you get the story told from all three of their different angles. But I think the reason it didn't do as well is there wasn't a lot of, I think it was very close on a lot of the things. So I think people were expecting it to be really different in one person's POV. And it was kind of similar here again. It wasn't overly different. Because like we were sure in it's, oh yeah, it's definitely problematic from both of them, but it's just ramped up a little bit. It's not over the top, which I appreciate as well. Although I think this was definitely more ramped up than that film was. I think that's why the film didn't do as well. But again, it was so well calibrated. Honestly, it's one of Jodie Comer's best performances, and no one saw that film. It's so good.
For me, it really, I told you this before, like it reminded me of the movie Cleo a lot.
Amanda Seyfried and Julianne Moore, is it?
Exactly. And Liam Neeson, where she hires basically a prostitute to find out if her husband is cheating on her or not. Again, go through therapy. That's not the way to do it. Like throughout the movie, you think you're like fed one narrative line, and then at the end, it also comes like together in like an explosive conclusion. Very similar to The Girlfriend, to be honest, where you realize, shit, like we've been lied to this entire time. Which like the movie was alright, like the concept was more interesting than the movie itself. There's a lot of sex in that movie, and I did see it with my mom, and I'm still recovering from that experience.
I mean, I think I was mentioning I was on Fred's and I was chatting about Alien Earth, and one of the people I was chatting with was one of the writers of this show, a lady called Helen Kingston. And she follows us on Fred's now, which is nice. See, Fred's people, it's a place to go. Keep telling you. But she actually put a comment out about the show when it launched the other week saying, do not watch this with your parents.
It was tame is not the word. It wasn't gratuitous. Like, it wasn't to the level of Rivals, let's just say. Like, there's more fade to black in this than, like, right. Like, I did appreciate that. I was really worried when it was like that it would go to the level of Rivals where it would be just like pointless sex scene after pointless sex scene, but it like I don't mind sex scenes, but they need to have a point and they need to add to the narrative.
And luckily, this was more reaction shots as well, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
people reacting to the events. One thing I really liked in this was the needle drops. Again, I recognise probably next to none of them because this is definitely not my genre of music at all. But the bits I did catch, and because I had the subtitles on, you'd see the lyrics pop up on the screen. I was like, don't know the song, but that lyric absolutely fits the scene perfectly. Yeah, the
And
lyrics
the
just
score in just general, the
I
score
was about to
was
say,
really good, building that tension throughout the show.
I also really like the depiction of Laura's open marriage because you don't get that generally played that well in a show like this, or in a movie. There's always like, I mean, obviously as we know, it ends at the end that he wasn't happy doing it, but he did it just to stay with her. And like you
Yeah,
say,
so
when
it wasn't a healthy depiction
no,
of an open marriage.
I just like that it seemed that way for quite a while until we get a little bit further into the story. No, like at the start, you got Howard there with his mistress. He's like, "Oh, you staying there?" I was like, "Oh, wait, they're cool with this. They know about this."
Yeah, but it was still her, like, pushing him away. None of that, like, read healthy to me because it was just like, "I don't really wanna deal with you anymore, just go with this other girl, like, I don't want to," like, it's again shows, like, her being in control of the situation and he just going along with it, like, her, like, need to control everything in her life, and she's just like, "Yeah, I don't feel like dealing with you, go off with your mistress."
Well, I mean, that's why I liked it in, like, I think it's at the final episode when Howard just absolutely oh, no, it's episode 5, I think, when Howard absolutely shatters Laura's, like, view of everything. She's like, "You don't have a career. I've been funding your career. What you have is a hobby. I've been funding this because I love you for the whole time." And just the look on her face, that absolutely sends her over the edge then. And, like, the fact that Howard is almost always on Cherry's side as well.
That was so satisfying. That was just so satisfying.
I was like, "Fuck yeah, Howard."
Yeah, and also, like, her, like, that because that, of course, breaks down, like, the entire her entire reality because, like, what she, like, thinks just, like, "Oh, yeah, she's extremely talented art dealer, and she, like, can spot, like, artist wherever she sees it." Like, we, like, get a few looks into, like, her work and her world work and, like, the conversations, like, it's, like, nothing is, like, outwardly explained in this show, like, you're kind of in along for the ride, and you pick up, like, little dialogues, and you never really know what's true and what's not, but, like, how she runs her gallery, it kind of sounded like an extremely toxic workplace, and, like,
Well,
again,
that's
her
what
unable to recognize that she's the problem.
Well, that's why it's so good later when Sherry manipulates the woman she fires into going after her. And I mean, that was masterful. And then there was that extra level of it that she then used her as the patsy to play off to the police when she did do that. I thought that was superb because I thought, oh, getting her to attack her on socials, wreck her reputation, good, fair enough. But then when she's in there with the police, she goes, well, this person was just fired. Her name was this. I can give you her details. I was like, oh, she's a criminal mastermind.
Really good that technically, like, Laura is never wrong, and I don't mean never wrong in her actions. Like, no, but never, like, really wrong with, like, what she says. Like, she thinks Cherry got rid of her cat, which she did. She thinks Cherry slashed her tires, which she did. She thinks Cherry ruined her art gallery, which she did. Like, the reason she was pushed to that maybe is a bit different than the reason why Cherry did that. But, like, I thought that this was really interesting that, like, Laura is always played off as, like, the crazy one,
Yeah, yeah.
but all of her assumptions were actually true, which is really interesting. Whereas, like, Cherry's assumptions about her, like, were always still kept a little vague.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like I say, I loved at the start of each episode when it would have that quick, flashy montage and it would show one of them, usually Sherry, in some kind of peril. And you knew, oh, we're building to that at the end of the episode. The one that stuck out for the most was when you see her in the sea in Spain, like, and she's like, help, help, help. And he's like, oh, shit. Is she going to try and drown her here? Which,
Yeah.
foreshadowing.
I mean, water and swimming pools are very crucial to this plot, but it's not it's interesting. Like, That is one of the ones where I really did start like question her motivation, like so she could swim. Because to be honest, swimming in the ocean versus swimming in a pool is two very different
Mm.
things. Like you still can be comfortable in a swimming pool and not be able to swim in the ocean. You kind of kind of see like Cherry's manipulation, or did like just Laura see that as a blatant manipulation? Like, not never once do what each other go to like the two go to each other like, why the fuck are you actually doing this? Like, what's your reason here? Like, why did you make me think you didn't want to swim? Like, it's always like accusations. I mean, if these people could effectively communicate, we wouldn't have a show.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of the big things about the show, I suppose, is the main central theme of class struggle, with Cherry viewed as like a social climber. Like, I even noticed there's like subtle changes in her accent when she's chatting to her mum in the butcher's
Yeah.
versus when she's at work, and then when she's talking to the Sandersons. And like, again, her outfits. Marie,
I was
from the fashion point of say, what about her outfits?
Yeah, I'm happy that you pointed that out, and also like I feel like I've started to like influence you now because that's like clothing is something that I always talk about on the podcast. Like Cherry's clothes do really like tell a story, like how she's like how she feels with herself, like how she like dresses more corporate in like her real estate job, how she's like wears plunging necklines and short skirts around the parents. When she's like at home, like she's more casual, she's in jeans and a tank top. And then when she actually gets back together with David, her style changes again. And it's like a combination of everything you've seen before. So it's like really interesting.
Yeah, like when she goes to does karaoke with her mum, she's like in a tracksuit, pretty much, isn't she?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, like a jeans and a tank top, I think, and like the puffy jacket, like so. And then of course, like the cost of her clothes as well, like pays into like
First big lie, isn't it?
the first one. I think that's when you kind of realize she's not what she is when she buys the red dress, and the woman immediately goes to her, "Oh, you cannot return this." Salespeople in designer stores are the most snobbiest people ever. Like, other than the fact that I hate designer brands, it's another reason why I avoid them like the plague. They're just not nice to you if you don't look like you have money. It's actually this is like a bit of a tangent, but my dad, who's an artist, he likes actually like really likes designer clothes. So he does go into these like designer shops, but he's like dressed as an artist in like paint covered t-shirts and like baggy jeans. And sometimes security follows him around. My dad has spent like hundreds in these like designer shops. He's a really good client, but like that, like immediately they like assess him and like follow him around. But the thing is about my dad, he's very oblivious about the world, so he doesn't even notice it that it's happening. So
Or
that's
care,
like
I suppose, yeah.
care like it's
Suppose if he's like, why am I getting arrested for walking around again?
I mean it's also like he couldn't afford these things when he was younger and now he can as an adult, so it also does play into this what his love as designer, so it's
Yeah.
relevant to the show.
The first time I'd like when I was in the States and we were in Hawaii, and I had I needed to get a new pair of jeans, and I went in a diesel store and I spent a lot of money on one pair of jeans. The most I think I'd ever spent on one item of clothing in my life. But I was just bamboozled by the sales staff. Like, it was all pretty women, and you just walk in like, "Oh, yeah, oh, they look great," all that kind of shit, and, like, having never experienced that in the UK or ever, you're just like, "Wait, okay, I've suddenly paid a shitload of money for a pair of jeans, and, okay, how did that happen?" Just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
walked
we've
out like,
been that's actually quite interesting with the difference between the UK and America, because America, like, they're all, like, smiley, like, pretending to be your friend, and then in the UK, they immediately judge you the second you
they're
walk
like, yeah.
in.
In England, it's like, "You are poor, get out."
Exactly.
So yeah, the like you say, the theme of class struggle is like a big one in the show as well. I think because of that, I've obviously been working class. That's why I was on Cherry's side. It was like, well, why is it such a bad thing that she wants better for herself? She's clearly competent at her job, even good at her job. Like you say, the other woman who gets a promotion over her, it's just because they're trying to get that woman's business through her family connections.
Yeah.
And whereas Cherry gets all the listings, so Cherry is good at her job.
Yeah,
And
and like she's always there. Like the other woman is always hungover, leaves for like a bikini wax and stuff like that.
and also the other key thing is we don't ever see anything against it, but she genuinely does love Daniel,
Yeah, I mean, again,
dangerously
unreliable.
so.
Yeah, not a bad thing. I mean, it's like it's the conversation of old money versus new money. People who were born into it kind of think they deserve it more than the people who actually worked for it.
Hmm.
Which is just like how fucked up our society is today. The money definitely played a factor into it, but I think it wasn't just that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like wanting financial security is not a bad goal. Call back to another movie that we both didn't really vibe with this year, The Materialist, because that's another one where she's like demonized for wanting financial security, and I'm like, you know what? That's not a bad thing. Like I'm like budgeting from week to week. It's okay to like want to
Take
be
money off
secure.
Pedro Pascal. Yes.
Yeah, because it's Pedro Pascal.
I was wondering if they could do a second series because obviously when we get to the end of the show, we see that Cherry's pregnant, Howard's there, Laura is not. It's only then that we get that final twist with the phone, with Daniel finds the phone, and the final twist that Cherry actually is a psycho, and it's all admitted to by her mum to Laura. Because we see that scene from one angle, but we don't hear it from the other side. So when we hear we don't, it's only when he hears the phone at the end, he's like, "Oh yeah, she's crazy. She'll like do all these crazy, And I was like, "Okay." And then she just turns around, like stroking her bum, looking lovingly at Daniel, and he looks fucking terrified. And I'm wondering if you had a potential second series, it could be him almost in his mum's position, where he's like, "Oh wait a minute," starts trying to realize all the things that Cherry has done and finding the evidence. And then it could go one or two ways. It could be him trying to run away with the kid and get away from her, or it could be Cherry's just like, "Okay, well, I've got my child, I've got the money. Bye, Daniel." And again, you could play it very close that you could have it where she's a really good mom. And again, that ties into the thing with Laura's character being the overbearing mother. Then Cherry essentially becomes new Laura, which would be a really cool way to do it. And then like him going, "Wait, no, that's a bit." There's so many ways they could take it, actually, if they wanted to continue the story. I just don't know. I mean, it's not like I was about to say, it's not like Olivia Cooke isn't busy with House of the Dragon, but you're not really that busy with House of the Dragon because you turn up, sit on a throne for a couple of hours, a couple of days, once every 2 or 3 years, and you're done. So occasionally a dragon. Yeah, second series, potential spin.
I completely disagree with you. I think the stories definitely should end
Look, I
here.
think it definitely should end. I was just thinking how
6
it could
episodes was
continue.
enough. This could be an anthology series. And by the way, if the writers ever want to like pick me up on that and want to write a series called The Boyfriend, like boy, do I have a story for you.
That's the spin-off show right there, isn't it?
Yeah. Depicting a different relationship. Well, I would ask for royalties because my therapy bill is sky high because of that relationship. But yeah, let me monetize my pain. This is where we get into like the life advice with Marie in this section. Watching this show, after like a certain point, you kind of think it ain't worth it. I've been in the position where literally it's like your girlfriend or your family. It's not great. It's like it's still wasn't one of the worst experiences of my life. And like I still remember being in this situation and I was just like, well, what do you have to gain here? Like either like you make your son break up with me, we're both miserable, he's mad at you, you lose a member of your family, or we stay together and you lose a member of your family anyway. Also, like the age of this character is like play into it because like something that I learned like through life is in your early 20s, it's not that big of a deal if your partner's parents don't like you because you're in your rebellious phase. You're at university. You're like living your own life. But the older you get, it does become a factor. And after a certain while, just walk away. Walk away. Everyone should have walked away from this situation. Like it's not worth it.
As you said, was it therapy? So you were never
Therapy.
tempted to make an exploding awful wedding cake?
I never saw my antagonist. This was like all like through like secondary sources. Like, so maybe I would have thrown hands. I do not know.
All right then. So moving on to the bad, and the first thing that I thought, oh wait a minute, Jerry, she let the cat escape. It's an indoor cat. It can't survive outside. I mean, it did. It came back later, which happy ending for the cat. Although I wonder where the cat. I'm assuming the cat lives happily with Howard now.
No, the cat's in the house. That's how they found the phone.
Yeah, but is that Howard's house or their house?
I think it's their house. I think they moved into the house.
Nice. Take the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, happy ending for the cat. I thought Daniel was a bit of a wet blanket in episode 5 when they're having a dinner party and he doesn't stand up for her. Oh yeah, so when he's like lies about what his mum did. I mean, his mum, I don't know if we've said this on the pod yet, actually, she basically tells Cherry that he's dead and then cuts her out of everything completely. I mean, you feel so sorry for her in that episode. The amount of shit she goes through. It's like, it really gets you on side with her.
Yeah,
So
I
then when
mean,
she does
that's
get,
like the awful thing. I mean, in relation to that, that is like sorry, one last like good because what I thought was interesting about that because in the previous episode, Lilith tells her like when it comes to like people who lie, the lies have a habit of catching up with you. And she tells that in relation to Cherry. She's like, just be nice to her face. Like eventually, like the lies will catch up to her and everyone will see who she is. And then Laura's the one who actually falls down that rabbit hole and just lies profusely through her teeth.
it
Yeah,
just spins out of control,
it
doesn't it?
spins out of control, but it could have spun less quickly out of control. And this was like one of our like biggest ones because like throughout while this is happening, while like because Daniel has a rock climbing accident, which by the way was completely his fault. As someone who used to do rock climbing, wear a fucking helmet and keep yourself
Clipped in.
hooked, clipped in.
And she even says that to him, don't you need to be clipped in? And he's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm
Also, she
cool.
wasn't belaying him properly. It really bothered me. Like she wasn't holding the rope properly.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think she knew what she was doing.
But then bring someone who knows what she's doing and then explain properly. Like be safe. She also because he's a lot heavier than her. She also should have been clipped to another bag in addition because like if he falls, she would have shot right up. Sorry, that's my like inconsistencies. But as someone who used to do rock climbing like fairly regularly, it really bothered me. But anyway, like he has the accident, it was completely her fault. He lands in the hospital. They tell her to leave again. Dick move. And then throughout this entirety, she's just calling Laura. And why doesn't she call the dad? Like she clearly has a better relationship with him. Even like afterwards, with like she could have just called him, and said, "Hey, listen, your wife won't tell me where your son's buried. Could you please just tell me?" It could have been avoided. Like this whole situation could have been avoided if she would have just called the right person.
Well, yeah, because we get that scene where she bumps into Daniel's ex and her Laura's friend's daughter, and they're out, and she's really bitchy to her. Again, she's just like, the look of. I mean, you get it from Cherry's point of view. There, she's like, "What the? I've gone through all this, and I'm getting this shit as well.
Yeah.
What the fuck?" When she said when they're having a dinner party in episode 5, she's like, "I didn't realize when I saw you out. Oh my god, you must think." And she was like, I forget what she says, but I was thinking, yeah, she probably did think he was an absolute dick.
Yeah, she said, I thought you just moved on way too quickly.
Quickly, that was it.
That's another point against Daniel. I mean, this man is, other than the money, he's not worth fighting for. Like, because he basically brings her along on this family holiday, doesn't ask his parents' permission. In that case, you do need to ask your parents' permission because, like, if you're there and you're unwanted, it's not a good experience. But then also, like, neglects to tell her that his ex is also there, and then she gets blindsided with that information. Again, dick move. Major red
And the
flag.
chef, they brought his favorite chef to cook his favorite meal, and he blew it off.
I mean, that was more on her, but like that's not really against him. That's when we see her more manipulative side.
Well, I think I read that as just she wanted actual time with him by themselves.
Yeah.
And then because there's when he goes, oh no, I forgot or something, doesn't he? He goes, oh no, was that tonight or something? So I almost understood Laura's point of view on that one there. Big dinner, like private chef and all that, and then they didn't do that. So that's what I mean. It did a really good job of making you, oh well, I'm on their side a little bit here. Then oh well, they're right. And it was never black and white, good versus bad. It was always, oh well, that was on both of them. So I like that.
It also had like one extremely good line from Daniel where she like points out, "Oh, we're on holiday," and he's like, "No, you're on holiday with my family." Which that was actually rightfully pointed out. Like he's like, no, this is a family holiday. We can't just ditch them. That's again, fair assumption. It's just you should have had that conversation before you got on the plane.
Well, she got on the wrong plane, but it had lots of nice dresses. So you know,
I would have
anything
done
else?
that as well, to be honest. So, like for me, the only bad thing that kind of started to bug me, and this was, I think, around episode 4, that the split narrative did not stay consistent. So like for the first 3 episodes, like when like we were in Laura's perspective, we were only with Laura, and when we were with Cherry, we were only with Cherry, and we could only see the two when the two interacted, and that's when we could see like the juxtaposition of how they both viewed that interaction. But like from episode like 3 onwards, those two started to mesh together. But unlike the final episode where that was the intention, you still got like the heading where it was like Laura and Cherry, so you knew whose POV you were in. And I really wanted that narrative choice to remain consistent. Like when we were in Cherry's POV, we still saw what was happening in Spain, which just didn't make sense because she wouldn't have known what was happening. She could have assumed, but Maybe that's kind of the point, like, she's assuming that Laura's doing that, but she didn't know that they were in Spain.
Yeah, I suppose it's because the plot gets more convoluted and you need to cut between the different scenes a lot more as the story comes to its conclusion. That's why they kind of, like you say, it's a great setup for the opening episodes, but then they needed to kind of drop it, I think, and just go,
Yeah, but then maybe drop it completely. I think they wanted to, like, have that, like, dual POV for the final episode and saving that where everything comes together. Yeah, I wish they would have just kept to that more consistency. But I do think that would have also added more to the rewatchability to that show if it was less spelled out.
yeah, because people would go back to watch for the clues and go, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that was
I'm
when this
thinking
person
about,
did this.
mm, right, well, this moves us on to the what the fuck section.
I
And
mean,
there
we
are
could have
so
thrown
many.
the whole show into
The
this.
whole
Like
show could have gone into this, yeah.
this, like
I
I
mean,
mean, I've never been more stressed in my life.
what was it you said to me? I think after the first or second show you watched, went, no, I'm putting this show in the fridge, is what you
Yeah.
texted me.
A friend's call back because I couldn't. It was after she told him he died. I really have a problem with liar revealed narratives, but this is this is like a whole other level. Like this is not like a hard well no, not really such thing as harmless white lie. But like this is a whole another relative. And it's one of those like this is such an extreme lie. Like it's gonna get found out.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I mean London is like I mean heavily populated, but it's not that big.
And it
Like
was the same area of London they would come back to.
yeah. It's like, how did she think this would work? Like, how, like, at that point, she's like so in her delusion. Like, it's,
The main thing for me at the start, like, and again, even in the trailers for this show, there's a really couple of cool, like 10 5-second trailers on Amazon. The way they cut between Laura and Cherry and the son, and it says the girlfriend, and you're like, oh wait, which one was they implying it was there? Like you said when he with his intro in the show. But the ick factor, man, the ick. You don't wrestle with your son in a pool
it's
or
just,
kiss him on the mouth that way, unless you're in a very, very European family, definitely not English.
no, oh, God. As someone who's in a European family, I hate so much the cheek kisses. I honestly, I miss the COVID days of bumping elbows. I really do. Like every time I'm in Hungary, I dread it. Or I'm just like, okay, let's just go for the hug. Like I hate the kisses. Can we
Also,
just
just the
go Irish on this one?
the sheer amount of time she walks in on him or spies on him or sees him with Cherry. I mean, the balcony scene was horrific.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I thought that was more funny. I think it's like on you, but no, like she,
I think,
like
as talking from a man, I think that is one of the worst things that could possibly ever happen, ever in the history of anything.
fair enough, fair enough. But I mean, like just how she's involved in his life, like she knows everything. Like she has access to his phone. She knows his like logging details. She knows his bank account details. It's like also when they have the conversation about his career where he's like, that's not what we discussed. You can't
Yeah.
suddenly become a surgeon like that. Like, no, like it's just as I said, it's like the no one will ever love you as much as I do. And yeah, I mean, for very obvious reasons, and I can finally say it, pools and water play a big part in this show. But every time she got in the pool with him, like when he was doing his physical therapy after his accident and he was struggling, and she got into the pool with him, and the way she was holding him, no, just
Wow, that was literally the live version of the cat hairball gif right there, Marie.
which I did send you multiple times, just like no.
Yeah, I mean, tying into the psychoanalyst part of this, because I spent way too much time Googling this at work the other day, because they're like, well, if the Oedipus complex is the boy's unconscious desire for his mother, then what's the opposite? When it's the mother's thing. And I thought, oh, is the Electra complex? No, the Electra complex is when the daughter fancies the dad. It's also dodgy and problematic. But I found out it's the Jocasta complex, because Jocasta is Oedipus's mother. And that's your psychoanalytic part of the podcast for today. Moving on from that to worst doctor ever.
Yeah. So let's just talk about the final act of this show,
Where do you
which
want to
like
start? When she starts drugging her son to stop him leaving?
yeah,
Where was
probably,
that gonna
yeah.
go?
Because this was like hinted at like because of like episode 1 starts with like the fight and you know something is gonna happen, and then like we get to the final episode and like yeah, he's like in the house with her and she's like already planning something. And then she drugs him, and I genuinely did not know, like, what was her goal here. Like, is this, like, a misery situation? Is she gonna drug him and, like, tie him to the bed and refused to let him leave. Like, what's happening in this moment? Like, I was frantically messaging you, like, what the fuck am I watching right now? The reason why she drugs him, like, she drugs him so he can, like, so he won't be able to leave, so he can listen to the message. Which, again, I still don't understand the logic, because, like, if you're in a drug-addled state, like, you're not gonna remember everything. Like, it's gonna come in, like, a confusing whirl in your face. I'm not speaking from experience here. If you're drunk, if you're drugged, like, you're gonna remember things differently, so I still don't understand the logic here. But yeah, but then, like, Cherry shows up, just chaos ensues.
I mean, there's the fights, there's the locking her in the room, there's the jumping off the balcony. A fair play, she got up from that.
This is when it, like, enters, like, Scream level of, like,
Yeah.
ridiculousness with plot armor and stuff like that. But yeah, she's hobbling about and they're fighting and they end up in the pool room. Also, rich people with their indoor pools. And
Honestly, what I'd buy though.
to be honest, me too. But yeah, like, that is like the ultimate of luxury, having an indoor pool. And yeah, they all end up in the pool together.
Yeah, because he obviously he comes to and sees, and like Laura is absolutely going to murder her, like Cherry. She has
Yeah.
got her underwater, and then Daniel comes in for the. I was going to say David. David comes in for the rescue. Daniel comes in for the rescue, and grabs his mum, tries to restrain her. And this is the way I interpreted it. In his drugged up state, he just thinks he's holding her down to hold her off. He doesn't realize he's holding her under the water. Cherry, to be fair as well there, I think they played this quite well. She's recovering herself from just almost being drowned. And she literally, as she turns around, she's like, no, Daniel, stop. She could have waited a little bit longer or given a look to imply that, no, she wanted her dead, but she didn't do that. So I was like, oh, shit. I mean, how's he going to live with that? He murdered his mother.
I don't know. And yeah, but then he comes to the conclusion of murdering his mom. This guy is a doctor, and like he just stares at the body, and you're
He did check the pulse once.
just CPR, people, chest compressions. Like that's like the first thing you do, like, because you don't see the aftermath of this. You like cut to a year later, but then obviously like the police would have shown up, and the police was like,
What was their story? Yeah, how
yeah,
did
exactly.
they
It's like
explain it
you
away?
found your mother in the pool, but you didn't like do any attempts to save her, and you're a doctor. Like
There would have
what?
been clear signs of the struggle on her
Yeah, I mean,
as well.
Cherry was cut. So, like,
Yeah.
how would they explain that? Like, she
Well, he's
got
a doctor. He
flashed?
could have fixed that without her going in, to be fair.
Yeah, but they still would have seen like the cut on
But
her
there would have been
arm.
marks on the mother
There would have been marks on the mother.
from when they were
And-
fighting back and forth.
Yeah, and just saying like, well, you didn't attempt CPR. Like, it's honestly like bothers me so much.
And
Like,
of course, if we know anything from watching shows or movies where people drown on screen, you always try and revive them with CPR. Except this is the first time ever in a show or movie I've seen someone not try, and he's a doctor.
he's a
Like you
doctor.
said.
Just kind of like accepts the fate, and he's just like,
Well,
oh.
I'm to point maybe to that is he was still drugged up enough that he didn't realize. And that's what I guess they're implying and going with.
Yeah, maybe, but like he still seemed aware. I mean, you could also argue that he did it subconsciously to finally be free of her, but
Defo. I'd go with that.
yeah, but to be honest, I would have found it like more effective if they would have revived her, then found herself more in a coma state like she did. Like,
She's in a hospital bed, and Sherry's like, "We'll take care of you," or something like that.
exactly, or then she like ends up completely being cut out of the family. I mean, like I did not think they would kill her off. I think killing her off would have been is the more obvious solution to this. Like, just eliminate the problem. And then, like, yeah, it cuts to a year later, and you see the wedding photo between them, and it's just like, you still got married after that? I mean, I think after that, it's become, like, just, like, such a toxic entanglement. Like, how can you explain that to the next girl you date, where you're just like, oh, yeah, by the way, I killed my mom. Like, maybe, like, at that point, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of stuck with you, because, like, there's any hope with me finding, and there goes any hope of me finding happiness with any other person, because I have to explain them this batshit situation.
And as we know, Daniel's not very good at lying as well.
No,
So overall, whose side were you on the most? I mean, it was Cherry, right?
I'm on the side of therapy, man. Like, this is like, no one was good in this situation. Like, everyone was just as toxic, and I think, and like, I mean,
But Howard was okay.
no, Howard.
liked
I'm team.
Howard.
You're right. I'm team Howard, because that
Team Howard.
man was a gem.
He was
Like
a saint. The shit he went through and just
exactly
put
the
up
shit
with.
he like put up with Laura, like being married to her, and then yeah, he was nice to Cherry from the beginning. Like, yeah, she didn't give me a reason to not to like
Trust her,
dislike
yeah.
her or trust her. So I'm just gonna be nice to her, like a human being is. But yeah, but everyone else is just like Daniel is like not worth going through this shit for. And I think like at the end you're meant to be on Laura's side, but like it's like both of these women are toxic manipulators, and it's kind of like what happens if you meet your match.
One
And
of you dies.
because like both of these women are used to getting what they want, and they're used to like manipulating the men around them, and then suddenly they like see each other and like back into like the psychoanalytics of the thing, because I think it's like maybe Freud or someone else who said like we actually like date our parents, like that is like a psychological thing that we do, where when we're choosing our partner we like choose our parents. And I think Daniel chose someone like his mom, like headstrong, psychotic.
And there's even that line right near the beginning, isn't there, which hints at something similar. I can't remember exactly, but in the first
Yeah.
episode, one of the first lines.
Well, for me, it was the perfume. And it was Laura who did that, where she was just like, "Oh, this is my favorite perfume. Daniel loves the scent," and then sprays Cherry with it. No, you don't want your
Verbal
girlfriend to
gift.
smell like your mom. Like, no.
Is this a recommendation, and what would you give it out of 5?
I'm worried of recommending this because then what would people think of me? I would.
Well, I recommended it to you, so
Yeah, but we're both. I mean, I'm fucked up, so like that didn't. It's like when you recommend. It's like the same thing with The Boys. Like I never know if I should recommend The Boys to people, because then people know how actual fucked in the head I am. But anyway, I do think if you enjoy like thrillers, and if you're into like House of the Dragon, like if you like enjoy Olivia's Cooke work and like House of the Dragon, then this is like a natural step forward, and like it is a fairly quick watch. So I do like, if any like what we said, like is if the premise like intrigues you, do check it out. I'm giving this like a soft 4. Like because like I did really appreciate like where like how the story was told, and like bringing something new to like this type of story. But yeah, I really would have wanted the writings to stay a bit more consistent.
yeah, for me, I really enjoyed it. And like you said, the exact reason I watched it was like, oh, Olivia Cooke from House of the Dragon. I'm going to watch this. I enjoy her in everything she's been in. I'd give it the same. Yeah, a soft 4. Like, it's not high-end prestige drama that normally we give a 4 or a 5 to, but it's for me, I think it's well written. I know your thing is about the conceit of the multiple narratives not being
Yeah,
coalescent the full way through, but
for
that
me it's
didn't
like
bother
if
me as much.
For me, it's like if you introduce like a narrative tool, I want them to stick to it. But yeah,
I think purely because I look at it from an editing point of view, and it would be a nightmare to fucking keep that up on those episodes when everything's you need to cut to different scenes. So there'll be in those last couple of episodes you need to cut to different scenes. So it'd be really hard to stay in one person's point of view for that. Yeah, look, for me it's very entertaining, and in the age of binge watching, this was a show that knew exactly its audience. All 6 episodes dropped on the same day, and when I was watching it, I just needed to watch the next episode as soon as it had finished. I did this in 2 nights. I did 3 and 3. And yeah, I just had to watch it straight back to back. Right. Well, that's all the time we have on this week's episode. I'd like to thank my co-host, Marie. Marie, where can people find you on the socials?
you can find me on the socials underneath the handle Life on Mars. That is Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, even though I'm still restricted there.
They're never letting you back on.
Yeah, I'm still beefing with TikTok, but if you're interested in more of me for some reason, that's where you can find me.
And you can find me at Needed Roads on Twitter, Neil Gregory on Instagram and Threads. Threads is the place to be, people. I keep telling you, push the Threads. And Neil G78 on Blue Sky. And even now at Neil Gregory09, or potentially the We Needed Roads podcast on TikTok. I'm still not sure which one it is, but I know we're on there. And I know that David's first big video he did hit 5,000 views the other day. He's coming for
Oh.
your record, Marie. He's coming
To
for
be
your
honest, I'm happy for him. I mean, it looks like he really needs it.
Right. Well, for more We Needed Road shenanigans, you can find us on Spotify and also on YouTube, where you'll find our full library of episodes. And if you like what you've heard, hit that bell icon and subscribe. We need subscribers. So many people listen now. Like our listening hours are through the roof, but people just don't subscribe. Subscribe, people. Please subscribe. We're begging you. If not, we'll send Jose around to tell you about his website again. Or more importantly, about Jensen Ackles. And you'll have to watch our previous episodes to understand that reference. And don't forget to leave us a comment below. Were you Team Cherry? Were you Team Laura? Were you Team Howard? No one was Team Daniel. Let us know what you thought of the show below. Make sure to join us next time on your favourite problematic family-powered pop culture podcast. See you then.
We needed roads.